barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. So, I want to talk about something. Deontay Wilder made breaking news, and that's why I'm going to title this, Breaking News. DAZN John Skipper apologized to Deontay Wilder and his team for being unprepared to meet with them. You know, and I consider that a huge victory. I consider that a huge win. And I'm going to talk about my experiences with white people with white collar jobs with great titles. Whenever a white man apologizes to you, I'm talking about a black man, they realize they miss out on an opportunity to make money. And that's why they apologize. He didn't apologize to Deontay Wilder because, I mean, he may have. I'm not going to say he did. But he's like, fuck. They came in this meeting know more about me than I knew about them. You know? And the reality is, I don't think you can get over on a man like Al Heyman. I genuinely don't believe that. Listen, if he's had Drake and Floyd Mayweather, there's not a contract he hasn't seen. There's not a gimmick he hasn't seen. There's not an amount of money on the other side of the contract that he hasn't seen. You know, people, I'm going to use me for an example. People always say, man, you got to hook me up with Floyd, this and that. I got an idea that I get him $1 million. I don't tell them that because I don't want to kill their dreams. But in my back of my mind, I'm like, dude, Floyd don't give a damn about your $1 million idea. Every time he moves is 8 figures or more, you know, as he puts it, you know. So at the end of the day, man, Deontay Wilder, you're a king among kings. Obviously, you have a great team around you, and he couldn't have said it better. From what I know of Al Heyman, you know, is that he takes care of his fighters. You know, Al Heyman is, and this is just my interpretation of it, is on his Robin Hood project. You know what I mean? Where he's stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, you know? And I think that it should be commended. You know, these fighters are rich. And Deontay Wilder said, it don't matter what's on the other side of that paper. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. We getting paid. I'm on this 405, so don't mind me. All right? Let me get over one time. One time? We remember that Lauryn Hill. One time. So, but I just wanted that to be apparent. That's hella breaking news because that puts everything in perspective as it relates to the $40 million deal, as it relates to Anthony Joshua contract, etc., etc. Because I broke the news the other day and I actually did a video on it, and there's so many more things that I can do a video on as it relates to the interview. Anthony Joshua is not signed to DAZN. They can't guarantee, listen to what I'm saying, you can't guarantee an Anthony Joshua fight versus Deontay Wilder if Deontay Wilder signs with DAZN. You can influence it, you can greatly influence it, but you can't guarantee it. And you say, oh, but he's already signed DAZN. Listen, we already went through that with Deontay Wilder and with Anthony Joshua being signed to DAZN. I mean, excuse me, just being signed to Matchroom. They couldn't get the deal done. So now you got a third party involved, and Anthony Joshua knows Deontay Wilder signed for $40 million. You think he wants to sign for $40 million? No. You know? And no matter what people say, I thought that was a good number, not a great number. You understand what I'm saying? That fight is obviously worth more than, let's say, $80 million. The reason why I know it's worth more than $80 million because people know I'm in boxing, and they always say, man, when is Wilder fighting that guy from the UK if they don't know Anthony Joshua's name? If they know Anthony Joshua's name, they say, when is he fighting Joshua? You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I know it's a big fight because it's a casual fan's topic of conversation as it relates to boxing, you know? So I'm excited for this fight. And I've say this 1,000%. I don't care what's going on between them two. I still stand by this when I say this, right? Because obviously it's proven that Deontay Wilder words are being proven truthful, right? Through these last 365 days and beyond, right? But I'll say this. At the end of the day, it's up to those two men. And I said this. They need to get into a room and hash out their differences on an individual level. fuck what Eddie Hearn is saying. Fuck what John Skipper is saying. Fuck what what's that guy's name? Shelly Finkel's saying. You need to iron out these differences between y'all two, because honestly, I know when you're speaking through a third party, because I did that experiment in college where you tell one story through the whole entire class, or you do it in high school, and by the time it gets to the last person in the classroom, it's a completely different story no matter what was said, right? And that may be what's going on between those two kings. So at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, I'm riding whatever Deontay Wilder decision makes, unequivocally. I just afraid I don't want these guys to miss their money. You know, same thing with the kid from Brooklyn, Jarrell Big Baby Miller. I think about it from on a macro level. Like, I'm like, this nigga just blew $7 million. Sheesh. There are NBA players in the NBA right now that will play 10 years, 5 years in the NBA. Don't you know that $7 million is worth more than what Zion Williamson will make next year, being the #1 pick in the draft? He's only gonna make $4 million next year, right? If I'm not, you guys correct me in the comments. Was it 4.3? I know he's under that rookie scale for 3 years. You know, that's why if you're a good player and you believe you could be great, you want to go in the second round. You know, because it's a team option on the second year, and you understand what I'm saying? The third year, you can get a max deal by your third year. Zion Williamson can't get a max deal till his 4th year, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, there are pros and cons to everything that we do in life. So, with that being said, I just think that it's incredibly important that those two kings get together and have a real conversation. I would encourage Anthony Joshua to come to Deontay Wilder's May 18th. He need to pick up his camp, come to LA. Come to Brooklyn, and he's going to be training. He needs to sit down with Deontay Wilder and be like, man, let's go have a cup of tea, you know, or man, let's go. You know, he'll be in camp, so he can't eat, but you know, go rent out $1,000 media room, whatever it is, in some hotel with security, and y'all go talk. And then Deontay, when you get done, call 78 Sports or Blue Blood and break the news. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want y'all to miss that money. That's all. That's my biggest fear. Because at the end of the day, for real, a spade is a spade. Eddie Hearn's career still goes on. Shelly Finkel's career still goes on. Al Heyman's career still goes on. That's why it's really, really important that these fighters get their money in their prime. You know what I mean? Because imagine if Floyd would have missed out on that $400 million. He would have missed out on the Conor McGregor fight. I'm just saying. There's a possibility. There's probability, that fight wouldn't have happened. You know? So, anyways, man. Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Deontay Wilder gets another feather in his cap. You know, John Skipper apologized for being unprepared in the meeting when he was one of the head honchos at ESPN and now is the head honcho at DAZN. That's interesting. He got outmaneuvered by Deontay Wilder, the little boy from Alabama. The little black boy from Alabama outmaneuvered John Skipper, who's a well-seasoned executive, formerly of ESPN. Interesting. Got outmaneuvered by Al Heyman. Interesting. That's very interesting. Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.